From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. A desperate search is underway this morning off Italy's Sicilian coast after a luxury superyacht sailboat carrying foreign tourists capsized and sank in bad weather. And there may be Canadians at risk. 15 people were rescued, but one body has been recovered and 6 other people are still missing. The Italian Coast Guard says the 56-meter British-flagged Bayesian had a crew of 10 people and 12 passengers, representing British, American, and Canadian nationalities. It capsized at about 5 a.m. local time off Palermo. Canada's 2 largest railroads are starting to shut down their shipping networks as a labor dispute with the Teamsters Union threatens to cause lockouts or strikes that would disrupt cross-border trade with the U.S. Both the Canadian Pacific Kansas City and the Canadian National Railroads have stopped taking certain shipments of hazardous materials and refrigerated products. The union served CPKC 72-hour strike notice yesterday that it will launch a walkout Thursday morning if both sides hadn't reached a tentative contract agreement by then. And CN is threatening to lock out Teamsters Canada workers starting Thursday if deals are not reached. Environment Canada says Newfoundland's Avalon Peninsula is expected to see big waves and downpours starting later today as Hurricane Ernesto makes its way through the northeast Atlantic. The same system yesterday caused travel headaches on the east coast of the U.S. Reporter Lionel Moise has details.
This water is at least 4 to 5 feet high.
Nearly a foot of rain falling in just hours in western Connecticut. Streets and sidewalks were suddenly overwhelmed by water moving fast enough to carry away cars. In New Jersey, a major highway was brought to a standstill by a half a foot of rain, and trains between New York and Philadelphia stopped running for a time.
An Ottawa court is expected to hear final arguments today for acquittal from the legal teams of 2 Freedom Convoy figureheads, Tamara Leach and Chris Barber. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the time is now to conclude a Gaza ceasefire agreement that would return hostages held by Hamas back to Israel and bring relief to Palestinian civilians. He spoke Monday as he began his 9th urgent mission to the Middle East since the conflict began. And party faithful have been streaming through the Chicago airport as the Democratic National Convention kicks off today, following a tumultuous month for the party that saw U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris swiftly ascend to the top of the ticket.
The 4-day convention's theme is For the People, for Our Future. Observers say it'll be a key moment for Democrats to unify the party and build on recent weeks of excitement behind the Harris campaign. President Joe Biden is scheduled to give a speech that's expected to detail the accomplishments of his administration. It's been only a few weeks since Biden removed himself from the race for president due to mounting criticism of his age and ability to win. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, Chicago.
This is The Canadian Press. In sports, in baseball, rookie Joey Loperfido hit his first home run as a Toronto Blue Jay, and Bowden Francis threw 7 scoreless innings as the Blue Jays shut out the Chicago Cubs 1-0 yesterday. And Major League Baseball held its Little League Classic game in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, featuring the New York Yankees and the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers' Parker Meadows set off fireworks with a 10th-inning single that brought hundreds of Little Leaguers to their feet and scored Zach McKinstry on a headfirst slide, which gave Detroit a 3-2 win over the Yankees. In tennis, Canada's Leylah Fernandez and Kazakhstan's Yulia Putintseva lost to American Asia Muhammad and New Zealand's Erin Routliffe in the women's doubles final at the Cincinnati Open. And Japanese golfer Hideki Matsuyama lost a 5-shot lead in a matter of 4 holes on the back 9, but still managed to win the FedEx St. Jude Championship. He birdied the last 2 holes to win by 2 shots with a 70. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.